Hello everyone. Essentially Sports is back with another interactive session, and today we have got one of the greatest of all time, Demetrious the Mighty Mouse Johnson. First of all, glad to have you, DJ. So, how's life right now?
Thank you for having me, man. Life's good. Just got session home now, did some laundry, relaxing, and yeah, can't complain, man. I'm happy, man.
Now, despite achieving it all in the MMA world, you're really at the brink of a career-defining matchup. Obviously, you're going to be a part of the crossbreed fight against Rodtang on December 5. But unfortunately, Rodtang Jitmuangnon has been tested positive for COVID-19, and he's also out of his scheduled bout in a kickboxing bout in October. So what do you make of the whole situation? Like obviously you are disappointed, but do you feel that your fight is still intact as it is in the news with Rodtang?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going through a pandemic right now. Everybody's getting COVID, and from what I've heard, he's doing fine. He's asymptomatic, so the fight is nine weeks away. Plenty of time to get over COVID and get to the fight.
So obviously Rodtang is recovering fine, and that's what is out in the reports. But do you feel that due to this COVID reports coming positive, like against him, like do you feel that this is going to put a medical setback on him, and which is something that is going to work in your favor in the fight because you're right now training and being active while he's still recovering from the disease, the pandemic?
No, he's in the gym all the time. I mean, he lives in the gym. He has 252 fights, 41 losses. I think a little COVID-19 is not gonna, hinder his cardio. I mean, it will, but it's not like we're fighting in 2 weeks. We're fighting in 9 weeks. COVID usually takes about 14 days to get over. And then, yeah, I think he'll be fine. He has experience, and it's not like he's fat and out of shape. He's in shape.
I mean, obviously, Rodtang has been super active in his career. He's a great fighter, but he's still young. And like getting Demetrious Johnson against him is going to be a huge mark in as per his legacy. What do you feel this fight brings to your table? I mean, obviously, you have fought the best, you have achieved it all. What do you think a young fighter like Rodtang brings to your legacy?
Well, I mean, he's young, but he has more fights than I do in my lifetime. I would have to live, probably 4 lifetimes to get as amount of fights as he has. So, and Rodtang's a legend. He's the best pound-for-pound Muay Thai fighter in the world right now. And just be able to go in there and compete against him in a special rules fight is going to be fun. And if you say, I've done that before in my career.
Now, coming back to the fight talks, the fight is going to be a crossbreed fight. 2 rounds is going to be held in MMA and 2 rounds in Muay Thai. And we all know that Rodtang is really a massive striker. He's really great at what he does. He's great at Muay Thai. And a lot of people believe that Demetrious Johnson is going to look after his chances in the MMA rounds while Rodtang is going to take his chances in the Muay Thai round. Now, do you plan to take it in that way, or do you feel that you try to outclass Rodtang even in the Muay Thai round? So basically, what's your game plan?
Obviously that's where he shines is the Muay Thai rounds, and I believe I'll shine in the mixed martial arts round. I mean, that's what our specialty is. Rodtang is a Muay Thai specialist. I'm a mixed martial arts specialist. So I think we're both going to have our rounds to shine. It's going to come down to who's going to be able to execute on those rounds that we are good at.
Now, this crossbreed fight, this is really an innovative step up. This is really a new thing that's coming into the MMA world, and gladly one championship, and you along with Rodtang obviously is bringing this. Do you feel that crossbreed fights are going to be relevant after this thing? Because we saw in 2017, yeah, when
No, keep going. I think it's something that the fans are gonna enjoy and love, but it all depends. It literally all depends if it has good feedback, if the athletes want to do it. That's what I think it's gonna come down to.
like obviously because we have seen in 2017 when Floyd Mayweather fought Conor McGregor, that was like beginning of something really new, and after that it became a common trend. A lot of people did that, and gradually a lot of people started complaining. Like there was a section of audience to complain about these exhibition or crossover fights happening. Do you feel that this step up is going to like fall this crossbreed fight is going to fall under the same bracket as the exhibition fights or crossover fights have fallen into?
No, I don't think people. I mean, people are going to complain about whatever you do. People always find a reason to complain. I actually enjoyed those fights, and like I said, you could see more down the line, but it all depends on the promotion and the athletes want to do it.
Also, like in future, do you want to continue yourself in these crossbreed fights? And if yes, obviously, which I believe you want to. So if not Rodtang, whom else do you envision yourself facing?
Yeah, I mean, if the opportunity presents itself, then yeah, I might be interested in doing it. And it's whoever they want to offer me. Like Rodtang is a big name. That's what intrigued me mostly about this matchup. He's a very big name. Everybody knows him, so it's going to bring a lot of buzz. And it just worked out that it's going on one championship 10-year anniversary.
So that's going to be a really special day, and we have seen what one championship has done in this limited amount of time. They have seen the heights of success, and like bringing big faces like you, Eddie Alvarez. Like this has been a tremendous step up for the company, and right now it's actually one of the biggest promotions in the world. So, and what makes one championship so innovative, I feel that, is they have got a lot of types of combats. It's not just restricted to MMA. Like if you want to explore through the other divisions or the other kind of sports, you can do that. So will it intrigue you to do something like that in the future?
Yeah, well, like I said, we'll see. I think after this one, I'll probably get back to mixed martial arts, and it's whatever they offer. Like they offered me this fight, and I was like, yeah, let's make it happen. So I take it fight by fight, day by day, and then let them come with whatever they want me to do.
Also, like you have been a really humble fighter all your life, even when you were in USA, and right now you're in one championship. So how different was it actually for you coming from the American MMA scene to the Asian MMA scene? Obviously, you're a world phenomena, right? And no matter where you fight, people tend to watch your fights. But when you made a massive shift from US to Asia, what were the changes that you faced?
Just the jet lag and the time and the travel time. It's a lot of traveling that you have to put into consideration. Typically now when I head over there, I usually give myself about 10 days to get acclimated to the time zone. That's very important because it's very, very, very hard to just leave 3 days. It takes a day and a half to get to Asia. And then you get acclimated, and then you fight, then coming back home. That's probably the biggest thing I would say coming to Asia from, America.
So DJ, you already have achieved a lot in your career. Like a lot of people believe that you could have easily retired at this stage, but you still have the itch to fight. You have been proving yourself at the topmost level. You have been a UFC champion for so many years. You won the Grand Prix flyweight title at one championship. What else do you feel you require to enrich your legacy, or do you feel that it's just for the fun of the sport at this point?
It's almost for the fun of the sport. Obviously you want to try to get as much belts as you can, but now it's about having fun and enjoying the journey, right? Because there's going to come a point in time where I can't fight anymore, and I would say, I wish I would have did this, I wish I would have done that. But now, I'm at the time where it's like, just have fun and enjoy it.
Also, there's an interesting thing that Chatri Sitorong recently said, that he recently welcomed the idea of a one versus UFC crossover event. And if that actually happens, he will be one of the prime faces of it, because you've been a record time title defender in the UFC, one of the biggest stars over there. And right now you're one of the biggest star at one championship. I know obviously you expressed your interest in facing Henry Cejudo a lot of times. I mean, that can be a really great trilogy. But apart from Henry Cejudo, there are so many killers right now coming out from UFC. If that event actually happens, one versus UFC, whom do you envision yourself facing?
Well, honestly, I don't know, because I have, if that was to happen, I would not be cutting down to 125. And I'll probably one of the 135ers. And I have no idea, I haven't looked at the landscape. The 135-pound division in UFC is pretty stacked, from Aldo to, Aljamain to Peter Yan to Sugar Sean O'Malley. I have no idea.
I mean, since you mentioned Aldo, I would just like to ask you, Khabib recently said that a fighter cannot have two primes. In response, Conor McGregor, Jose Aldo, they all fired back at him, and they said that no, if you have got the hunger, you can have. So what do you believe? Like, Is Khabib right
Yeah,
in
I understand where Khabib is coming from, and he didn't say that out of no disrespect. You know, he's just saying he doesn't believe that he can have two primes. Like a man, and I think Khabib was going more like scientifically. A man is in his prime between, you know, 28 to like 38 years old. That's like where they're going to be the best. And he's saying like it's all based on competition, right? Like if I fought, you know, the top 15 in the world, of course I'm going to look like a world beater because I'm just better than him, right? But when he gets to like the top 5, where he fights like a Peter Yan or a Sean O'Malley or the guys who are up at the top, it's going to be hard to compete because they're younger, they're faster, they've been in the game a lot more. Aldo has experience, but can his body keep up? Can he be as fast as those guys? That's where I feel Khabib was really getting at. It wasn't like, I felt like they both, you know, Aldo took it as disrespect and Khabib meant it as his honest opinion was like, no man can have two primes. Like, you know, if you fought the best in the world championship, you probably wouldn't win. But I think Aldo could win the world championship. Mixed martial arts is one of those sports where you can, you know, compete where you should be. I mean, look at Brandon Couture. I mean, he's fought, you know, he won championship, you know, later in his career. So that's why I think my opinion is on that one.
also like James Young? You obviously know your teammate. He recently had a successful professional MMA debut, and he was really saying a lot of great things about how practicing with you, training with you has helped him like shine his skills. So what do you make of James Young as a potential fire title contender or title winner in the one championship roster?
Yeah, I think the sky's the limit for James. He's very young. Okay, come. Sit. He's very young. And the biggest thing for him is that he's just got to stay healthy. He's just got to stay healthy and keep on competing. And that's it, man. I mean, he's in a great division and won championship, a lot of great fighters, but I think he can compete with any of those guys.
Now, DJ, you obviously have always said that you have been a family person in a lot of interviews, even your lifestyle that reflects that you're a father, you're a role model father, you take your kids to the schools and all. So I mean, it's not difficult for you, but how do you feel when you make the transition? Like when you get inside the cage, you're a fighter, you're a brawler. Obviously, you have always been a humble fighter, even outside the cage. But how's the difference? I mean, whenever you envision a perfect father, a family man, they go to an office or something like that. But whenever you see you, you have been a gangster inside the cage. So how's the transition been affecting you all your life? Like you've done it all your life.
I don't really think it's affected me really that bad, to be honest with you, because I've been doing it my whole entire life. And I enjoy it. I enjoy it because they give me life, they give me purpose. And that's where, you know, it just gives me motivation to compete and fight.
Do your kids watch your fights like live?
They watched a little bit of my last one, but they didn't really care. They don't care about fighting. They're into motocross.
So do you feel that like your kids can get into mixed martial arts cage, or do you envision that, or do you actually want that to happen, or is it just like whatever they want to do?
It's whatever they want to do. I just want them to do whatever they want to do and be successful at it. That's my biggest thing. Because just because I fight doesn't mean they have to fight. I mean, they will be active in, you know, doing sports just to stay healthy and whatnot, and, you know, to build some muscle. But other than that, they fight. They don't fight, I'm not even gonna worry about it.
How did you actually get into mixed martial arts? Like obviously there were so many forms of combat. What actually inspired Demetrious Johnson to take it up professionally and like become one of the greatest in it?
For me, it was just to stay active. You know, like I started, you know, doing sports as in middle school, and then I wrestled in high school, and then after that, you know, after I got done doing wrestling high school, I was like, you know, I want to do something else. And next thing you know, I started doing mixed martial arts, went to the gym, and the rest is history, man.
Also, like coming back to the fight talks, I also wanted to know one of your opinion. Khabib Nurmagomedov recently said a thing that really went controversial. Like he said, octagon girls or ring girls, they actually have got nothing to do in the sport of MMA, and he just said that he doesn't need them in his own organization. To which Valentina Shevchenko said that Khabib was absolutely wrong in that scenario, and she showcased her support to the ringers. I just wanted to know what's your take on the whole scenario going regarding this. Like, is it really important to care?
I mean, it's his opinion. He's entitled to his opinion.
Yeah,
I don't
obviously.
mind girls. I think it's nice to have them. I mean, they look good. You walk around half-assed naked. I mean, do you need ring girls? Do the athletes need ring girls? No, they do not. But as a promotion and a business standpoint and organization, is it nice for a drunk man in the crowd to see a half-naked girl walk around and let them know what round it is? Absolutely. I think both people, like I said, are entitled to their opinion. That's my honest opinion. It could be you don't want ring girls. You don't want ring girls. It's his promotion. You do what the fuck you want.
Oh. Also, like we recently saw Christian Lee lose his title at the One Revolution card in the main event. We saw, and a lot of people felt that that was really a controversial decision. Christian Lee should have retained his title. So, did you actually watch the fight, and what do you make of it? The entire decision, the entire fight.
Yeah, I mean, once again, as I was sitting there, as me and my teammate James were sitting there watching the fight, we thought, okay, the Korean gentleman, right? But that's why I'm saying it's so subjective to people's opinion. Like, it's my opinion. I thought, okay, right? That's like, and, I even have a hard time with the rule base because it's like, I score things different than the judges do. So once again, it's subjective based, but I'm sure they're going to run it back and we'll go from there.
Also, like I'm really asking a lot of your opinions, but I really wanted to know this. There were recently reports that a new MMA promotion might get formed by the next year, which is actually going to follow the role model of NBA and NFL. That is, the fighters are going to get the 50% or somewhere around the revenue. And a lot of fighters actually praised it. So, what do you make of it? Like, there are already so many MMA promotions in the world, and bringing in a new MMA promotion that is going to pay, like, give the fighters the share of the revenue. So, do you feel that this is a good idea, and do you envision yourself exploring into other promotions from at this point of your time?
Here's my thing. So when you hear something like that, it's like, okay, how come nobody else has done it? How come the UFC hasn't done it? How come Bellator Rising or One Championship? How come no other organization has ever done that before? Right? It's because I don't think it's possible. My personal opinion. And two, if they're going to do that, they have no athletes. They have nobody on the roster. They would have to go out in order for them to be able to make as much money, be profitable, and also be able to give the fighters 50% of the revenue and stuff. They would have to go out and make some big acquisitions to be able to get the TV deal and the pay-per-view numbers to be able to, pay the investors back, if that makes sense. So can it happen? Absolutely. But it's going to be a long way before the investors are ever going to see any capital, any of their money returned. Because you look, the UFC has been around since 1993, and now they just went public for IPO, and now they're making a fucking killing. Now, if they were to give 50% to the athletes, it's very doable because they're making a shitload of money. But that was a long thing. So if it happens, dope. If it doesn't, I'm not surprised.
DJ, obviously you've been into the business for a long time. You've been into the sport for a long time, and you've seen both the sides of the sport, like the business side for the fighters, the perspective of a fighter. So, what do you envision yourself doing after like hanging up your gloves? Do you feel that? Yeah.
Hanging out with the kids and wife, obviously working on my streaming career, my gaming career, that's going pretty well. And, hanging out with my children, and that's it, man. Just enjoying myself. But then, I want to go train and just, I just want to enjoy my life.
Like, you have almost achieved it all in your career. Like, what else do you feel that, what else is stopping you, or what else do you feel that you need to attain, like, before, like, you say that I have done it all?
Yeah, I mean, I think I have done it all. Right now, like I said, it's about having fun and just enjoying it. I still love training. We're a second day in a training camp, and I feel great. And I'm healthy, and I'm making a good living doing this.
a lot of fight talks. You're almost at the end of the interview, so I would just like to ask you a few personal questions. Post pandemic, it has been really different for everyone. Like obviously, people have got time to spend with their family, but at the same time, they have been inactive from their profession. So how has it affected you? Like how has you affect the pandemic, the entire COVID wreckage? Obviously, we all suffered through it, but you were close to your family. So how has it affected you as a fighter and as a husband, as a father?
I mean, as a fighter, I just wasn't active. That's the only thing I'm gonna say. Two, it brought me closer to my family. It showed me what I really want. It kind of gave me a glimpse of retirement. I hang out with the kids, take them to school. Well, they weren't in school. They went back to school. Take them to school, pick them up from school. Like I look forward to. I've lived for that. And yeah, man, like the pandemic, I think affected everybody totally different. And for me, I saw it as a blessing of being able to just connect with my kids, get to see them grow. I mean, I saw both my kids learn how to read, which is a lot of fathers can't say that. So I'm grateful to be able to say I got to see that process.
Like the way you said, you obviously claim yourself like you feel that you will be enjoying your time after retirement. Like it will be all for the family and your close ones. But like when you look at the recent scenario, we see a 50-year-old Evander Holyfield return to action. Anderson Silva is still facing so many fighters inside the boxing ring. Now, what's your take on that? Like, is it for the money or is it for the love of the sport, or do these fighters really need to like put their life at stake at this age?
They're grown ass fans. They know what they're doing. I mean, they want to fight, let them fight. I mean, they pass on medical shit. They're probably, healthier than some of the, 25, 35-year-old men around the world. So, I support it. They're looking good. Anderson looked great his last fight. And I'm looking forward to see what he does next with his career.
So, DJ, like obviously it has been all for you. And in one championship, you're going to face Rodtang, like as you all know, a very young fighter. After facing Rodtang, like if you win the fight, how well are you going to envision yourself like staying active in the line? Like when can you expect next? Like if you win the fight against Rodtang somewhere in early 2021 or
Well, if I win the fight or lose the fight, I want to fight again in April of 2022. Stay active, try to get another fight in, and then go on vacation with the wife and kids, take the summer off for dirt biking season for my son, and then fight again in the fall. So if I can have my schedule, it'll be April and December, April and November, April or February this day. Like I want to be active, but I also want to have my time with my children for my son's dirt biking season. So if I can have it my way, that's what I would have it.
like obviously it took like obviously a lot of people would claim it to be a risk, but you actually enjoyed it, like making a shift to a whole new promotion, a whole new continent, like promotion based in a whole new continent at a very crucial stage of your career, and you really actually enjoyed doing that. So do you feel a lot of fighters prevent it from doing that just for the risk of losing their aura, or do you feel that finance is something that really plays a pivotal role in this entire trade market of fighters?
I I don't even think about that. I just, this is my job, this is my career, and I just go and do my thing. I mean, different continent, different state, different organization. You just got to go and compete.
And obviously, like facing in all these different continents, different places, you have come across a lot of different cultures. So how has it been affecting your life, like facing so many new people, facing no many meeting no so many new cultures actually in your life? How's it been for your like everyday career and everyday life?
Um, to be honest with you, it doesn't affect me because it's a very short part of my life. Like, you go to Japan, you get exposed to different how people live their lives. And that's about it. I mean, you look at it and you appreciate certain things. Like when I go to Singapore, you're in lockdown pretty much the whole time. For us in America, there is no lockdown, right? I mean, we run around throwing parties, having, doing our thing. And it makes me grateful for my freedom to be able to do as I please when I come back and forth from during the pandemic. So that's the biggest thing I see. Like when I go back into Singapore, being on lockdown, it's just like, great, here we go again. It's kind of put a sour taste in my mouth traveling and competing as an athlete right now, because it's like you just go and before COVID, you go to Japan, do Shinjuku, you go around, jump on a train, and enjoy the best part about traveling as an athlete, and that's visiting the country. now that just shit's not even happen. You know, if I went to Vegas was open, went around, kicked it, went to, you know, restaurants, dinner and all that stuff. But it's just different, you know. So, but it is what it is. You can't complain. I'm just grateful to be able to fight. But that's the only thing that's affected me. It's just that different cultures, different parts of the country, you know, it's shut down and there's nothing you can do about it.
Obviously, you have been through a lot. Like you have partied, you have spent time with your family, you have trained, and right now you're going to be entering a big super fight, mega fight actually, and we wish you all the best for it. So lastly, if you want to say something to our viewers or the readers that Essentially Sports have.
Yeah, I mean, just thanks for having me, man, and to appreciate you guys. And make sure you check out the fight against me versus Rodtang, December 5th, one championship, one X.
Thank you so much for joining with us, Demetrious. So hope we reconnect soon after hopefully you win the fight. So may the best fan win and wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much for joining.
All right.